Hi guys, hi. Welcome to Legally Speaking, the show that demystifies the law and gets rid of your legal anxiety. My name is Kwena Nkwana and this is my learned colleague
Muso Matlab.
Yeah, and this is season 2, episode 1. We're back. Bigger, better. Well, I'm bigger.
Listen. Before we carry on, can I tell them this?
No, go ahead.
Guys, this is the third time we shoot episode 1. The third time we shoot episode 1 season 2. We're not going to get into the nitty-gritties. We're not going to, bore you with that. But this is how much we love these people.
Yeah, man, we try our utmost best to give you guys quality content. So it's been like a year since we released anything, but a lot of good has come out of it. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of good has come out of it. A lot of good.
We established a very disruptive law firm called Nkwana and Matlala Incorporated.
Guys, I'm telling you guys are very lucky to be alive for this one.
Yeah.
Seriously, and it has been a great year. It has been a great year. And part of the reason why it took us so long for us to come back with Legally Speaking is that we were actually trying to position it now. We even got you guys like a new set. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that and now we actually promise to get you guys episodes on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
And perhaps on some weeks you might just get two episodes depending on what's happening in society. Because remember, a large part of the reason why we started Legally Speaking is to give you a legal perspective on matters of public interest.
Definitely.
So that's a big component of it.
Definitely, and basically bridging that gap between the layman and these complex issues.
100%.
And then you know what? This is one part of our show that we promise to give you guys consistent content.
Yeah.
So without wasting any further time, today's episode is going to be about something a bit more complex. We're shying away from the normal, different perspectives that we have according to previous episodes. But today it was going to be more of an insightful episode whereby we're going to be talking about trust. So without further ado, my learned colleague here will give you guys a bit of insight. A bit of insight as to what is a trust and such. So
yes, guys. So me and my learned colleague here, please forgive me if I lose the formalities and call him Croc sometimes. I'll bring myself back. We always get questions as to what is a trust, and we always hear people, like when we're out having lunch or whatever, we'll hear people talking about trust fund, trust this, acting like they know what they're talking about, and we just sitting there like, look, you guys don't know what you're talking about. But we're not going to tell them that because we're going to have to charge them.
No free advice over here.
Exactly. And so this means that this is not legal advice. We're just informing you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's informative.
We're just informing you. So a trust is an arrangement in terms of which a person or persons administer or manage property for the benefit of another or other people, or for the benefit of a charity or a good cause. Who establishes a trust, guys? So a trust is established by what we call a founder. A founder is the person that founds the trust, and then the parties to a trust are a founder, which is the person that establishes the trust, and then you have the trustees, which are the people who manage the trust, and then you get the beneficiaries. Beneficiaries are the people for whose benefit the trust is managed. Trust property. So this property that is being managed for the benefit of the beneficiaries, where does it come from? So ordinarily, and as a general principle, a person that establishes the trust, what they do is that they transfer assets from their personal ownership into the ownership of the trustees, who will then manage that property for the benefit of the beneficiaries. And then obviously there's tax implications to that, because if I'm going to transfer my shares here into a trust, my shares in NM Inc. into a trust, there's obviously they have a value, and obviously there's donations tax, but then that's another story.
Yeah, no, that definitely would be something that would expand on the tax implications when you come by for consultation.
Yes, and if you show genuine interest. And sidebar, guys, we do not read from an auto cue, guys. There's no auto cue. There's no is it teleprompter or tell you what. We don't have that, guys. So everything we're talking about, we're speaking about it from the top of our head. These are the things that we know, and we might sometimes make some errors here and there, but that's the benefit of having a learned colleague who's just going to say, yo, no, this is what it is.
So bear with us.
Bear with us, guys. Bear with us. And then on that note,
we want to talk about the different types of trust.
Yes.
So essentially there are two types, a living trust and a testamentary trust. So a living trust, under this umbrella, there are all sorts of types of living trust, and in order to we can't expand too much on that, but if ever you do need assistance as to find out what kind of trust would be best suited for your circumstance, come through, book a consultation, and we would let you know what best trust would, or what best living trust would suit your circumstances. But the most essential things to take from that is that there must be a trust deed. A trust deed is basically, as my learned colleague said, is something that a trustee should be able to it's a mandate, basically.
It's a mandate.
It's a mandate in which trustees should basically adhere to in order to administer the trust and know how to administer and basically be for the benefit of the beneficiaries, as my learned colleague has said. An important thing is that that very trust should be registered with the Master of the High Court, and the Master of the High Court is a body which basically overlooks the administration of trusts in totality. And the second one is testamentary trust, which is basically established by means of a will. So a person needs to be deceased, and then that will in which they leave behind would establish a testamentary trust. So one thing I would like to point out is this whole thing that financial institutions do by saying that they create free wills, or they draft free wills and stuff. It's important for you guys to know that there's nothing for free.
Nothing for free.
What they probably do, or what most of the time how they benefit, is executor fees. They get that percentage.
And that's that percentage paper,
percentage,
guys. That's that percentage money. that is that percentage.
They get the percentage. So the drafting is.
And how much is it? It's 3.5%, right?
Well,
it varies. It varies according to whatever arrangement
so they
you guys
get the
have.
percentage, and that's why they would probably say that they do it for free.
They're doing it for free. It's not free,
but if you go through that will, you'll see underneath the executor part, you appoint them as an executor to administer your thing, your estate. So some of the advantages of a trust is that protection of assets, number 1. So linabadi koloto. When it comes to insolvency, you'll know that your assets would be protected within the trust.
That was mean. That was actually mean, dog.
No, Maradini, at least you know that there's some sort of recourse that you have.
Actually,
yeah. So
it was done in good faith.
And also for divorce situations, it's best that your assets are protected.
A lot of people actually ask. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. A lot of people actually ask, Barry, can my property be? Can my spouse, in the event of a divorce, can my spouse take my trust property, or does the trust property form part of the joint estate? And generally, like we said at the beginning, it's trust property. Therefore, it does not form part of the joint estate.
It's a different legal entity.
Assets altogether. So, as a general rule, property in a trust cannot be touched in a divorce at all. But then, obviously, this is it's conditional in that the trust must be legit. It must be a legit trust that was governed properly, where the trustees were, managing it in accordance with the trust deed. No decisions were made outside of the trust deed.
With the Master of the High Court.
100%, exactly.
Those are very important foundational aspects.
And it shouldn't be your alter ego. It shouldn't be an alter ego.
Of course, it shouldn't be.
So the governance needs to be on point. And then But then that's where the real technicalities come in, and that's where we come in, and that's where you come in to the office and book a consultation. What's the other challenge?
Some other advantages are that the trust does not die. So it is important to know that even if you establish a trust on behalf of the beneficiaries in which you appoint, or that you want it to be for the benefit of, even if you pass away or you become disabled and whatever, the trustees will still have to adhere to the trust deed and execute the mandate accordingly.
Estate duty,
definitely. Estate duty is another one. A trust is not liable for estate duty, so it's a plus for you. Even as much as you have to pay your donation tax and everything. You know that because it does not die, it won't be liable for estate duty.
What this essentially means, guys, is that let's say by the time you are deceased, all your property is in a trust. What this means is that, so when you pass away, there's your estate pays tax. That tax is called estate duty, based on the value of your estate. Therefore, when your property is in a trust, this means that your net worth and the value of your estate is, minimal, and therefore sometimes it does not even qualify for estate duty.
Yeah, true. Because the thresholds.
There's thresholds. And another thing, can a trust conclude contracts, enter into agreements? Absolutely, guys.
It's a legal entity.
It obviously does that through the trustees. And going back to what my learned colleague said, if the trust deed stipulates that the trustees may enter into use the property to enter into a business, 100%, because there's business trusts, guys, and a lot of wealthy people use trusts to conduct business because of the advantages that my learned colleague
even communal property associations.
Communal property associations,
they conduct business as well.
100%, 100%. Communities as well.
Communities, everything.
Speaking on that, guys, obviously, if you really have a keen interest as to trusts, you want to establish a trust, you want a trust registered, this is literally down our alley. We've been doing this for years. We've been doing trusts for years. We've done trusts for retired judges, business people,
communal property associations,
100%, communities as well, spouses.
Definitely.
So this is something that we are very apt at, and guys, legally speaking, is not sponsored,
definitely, but
it's powered by.
Before we talk about the powered by, we talk about the duties of a trust. Trustee. The duties of a trustee. So it's important to appoint. It's important to appoint independent institutions or independent persons that would carry out the best interests of the beneficiary. So even if it may be a family member that would have the beneficiary's interest or best interest at heart, at least let it be a family member that will not be acting or be in a situation whereby there's a conflict of interest.
And it's not a prodigal.
So Wonkwana and Matala Incorporated is independent example of an independent institution that you can appoint that would act in the best interest of the beneficiaries. And some of the duties that a trustee has to do or has to adhere to is they have to act in good faith. They have to open a separate bank account, obviously, which speaks to the trust being a separate legal entity as opposed to a personal legal person. And then another duty would be that they must act according to the trust deed.
100%.
So that, as we said, it's a mandate, so they can't act out of that scope of the trust deed. Another one is that they have to keep record of all assets that are purchased and disposed of, which is obviously what we spoke about with regard to the master of the High Court. So they have to record it for the master so that they can be regulated properly and make sure that everything is done according to book. So those are some of the duties of a trustee. Also, another one is that they must not act alone or with the absence of other trustees, if ever there are other trustees. So.
Yes.
So you can't get a trustee that is acting on the ace and unilaterally makes a decision, whereas there are other trustees which they're supposed to consult with. So those are some of the duties of the trustees.
They must act in concert.
Yeah.
In
So
concert.
so now this is the part where the sponsorship comes in.
Dude, like, you know, the thing is, like, when you reminded me, I'm just thinking to myself, when you start saying duties of the trustees, I'm like, that's probably like one of the most important parts of the episode, and I was about to wrap it up.
real quick.
So yeah, guys. So as we said, you want to contact us, you must email us on this email address. I'm pointing at nothing right now, by the way, guys, but you're going to see this after editing, so something's gonna come up here. That would be engage@nmingattorneys.co.za. And then subscribe, guys. Like, subscribe.
Notifications, the bell.
And yes, guys.
To share as well, you know.
Share, guys. Share. Don't be stingy with this knowledge. Knowledge. And then, yeah, guys, we got this pod plant from the Flower Doctor, and legally speaking, it's brought to you by Nkwana and Matala Incorporated, guys.
You're witnessing this greatness.
You're witnessing the greatness.
So you best recognize that we are here to stay.
And I think we've forgotten one more thing. Oh boy! Cheers, guys.
Cheers.